Welcome to Traveler's Tales. I am your host, Greg Alonzo. Today I will be your guide through history as we take a look at the pleasure ladies of ancient Greece. Before we begin, just a reminder that we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. Moving right along. Mythology tells us one thing, while archaeology tells us another. Prostitution was a common aspect of ancient Greece. In the more important cities, and particularly the ports, it employed a significant amount of people and represented a notable part of economic activity. It was far from being clandestine, as cities did not condemn brothels. Rather, they instituted regulations on them. In Athens, the legendary lawmaker Solon is credited with having created state brothels with regulated prices. This was done as a public health service and also in hopes of preventing adultery. Prostitution involved both sexes differently. Women of all ages and men were prostitutes, for predominantly a male clientele. Simultaneously, extramarital relations with a free woman were severely dealt with. In the case of adultery, the cuckold had the legal right to kill the offender if he caught them in the act. The same was held true with rape. Female adulterers, and by extension prostitutes, were forbidden to marry or take part in public ceremonies. The average age of marriage being 30 for men, the young Athenian had no choice if he wanted to have sexual relations other than to turn to slaves or prostitutes. At the bottom end of the scale of prostitutes in ancient Greece were the pornai. They were the property of pimps or pornoboskos, who received a portion of their earnings. Though seen as disreputable, the owner could be a citizen, for this activity was considered as a source of income like any other. With regard to this profession, the owner could be either male or female. In the classical era of Greece, pornai were slaves of barbarian origin. Starting with the Hellenistic era, young girls who were abandoned by their citizen fathers could be enslaved. Pornai were usually in brothels located in the red light districts of the period. For example, in ancient Athens, such brothels were located at the port of Piraeus and the district of Kerameikos, which was located northwest of the Acropolis and extended beyond the city walls. The Solonian brothels provided a service to all, regardless of income. In the same light, Solon used taxes levied from the brothels to build a temple of Aphrodite's Pandemos, literally meaning Aphrodite of all the people. It is then quite clear that classical Athens considered prostitution to be a part of its democracy. What of independent prostitutes who worked the streets? These prostitutes were on the next higher level. Besides directly displaying their charms to potential clients, they had recourse to publicity. A common practice was to advertise on the soles of their sandals, saying "Akoulute," which meant "follow me." This practice also left an easily readable image in the sand. What else is known of these independent prostitutes and how they presented themselves? There is documentation that they were also known to wear makeup and apparently quite heavily. Were the pornai the only prostitutes in ancient Greece? Not hardly. Our next level up were the hetaira, which translates as companion. This group was more expensive and seen as exclusive prostitutes. Hetaira, unlike pornai, engaged in long-term relationships with individual clients and provided companionship as well as sex. Unlike the pornai, the hetaira seem to have been paid for their company over a period of time rather than each individual sex act. Hetaira were often educated and free to control their own finances. Lastly, let's take a look at male prostitutes in Greece. The Greeks also had an abundance of male prostitutes who were known as pornoi. Some of them aimed at female clientele, and the existence of gigolos has been confirmed during the classical era. However, the vast majority of male prostitutes focused their attention on male clientele. Contrary to female prostitution, which covered all age groups, male prostitution was restricted to adolescents. The period during which adolescents were judged as desirable extended from puberty until the appearance of a beard, the hairlessness of a youth being an object of marked taste among the Greeks. There were also cases of men keeping older boys for lovers. These boys were looked down upon. If the matter came to the attention of the public, these boys were then deprived of their citizenship rights once they reached adulthood. As with female prostitutes, male prostitution in Greece was not an object of scandal. In fact, brothels for slave boys existed openly throughout the city. Though prostitution was legal, it was socially shameful. It was generally conducted with slaves or non-citizens. One of the many slang terms for prostitutes was kamaitipes, which translates as one who hits the ground. Given the ancient Greeks' propensity for poetic thinking, it seems likely that this term also suggested that there was nothing lower than the kamaitipes. This brings us to the end of the pleasure ladies of ancient Greece. Thank you very much for joining us for this edition of Traveler's Tales. Just as a reminder, we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. For your convenience, we have also posted our email address and Instagram information. We love hearing from our subscribers, so don't hesitate to contact us with your questions or comments. If you haven't liked and subscribed to Traveler's Tales, please do so. This really is the best way to help our channel grow. Traveler's Tales will return with part 2 of The Pleasure Ladies of Ancient Greece. Until we meet again at the crossroads of folklore and history, Karatistos.